I'm going to be going over quarter one of my 2025 resolutions. It's been a while, hasn't it? So, I'm going to be going over quarter one of my 2025 resolutions. Feel free to use this time just to go ahead and pull out your planner and see how you've been doing. Have you been keeping up with your New Year's resolutions? Have you been keeping up with your goals and expectations? Are you creating anything that you're like, this is going to be a process? Let me just take small, steady steps. Have you been doing that? Well, let's get into it. So, for my first quarter, I had, working out once a week, Artist Way, bi weekly graphic design lesson, stability. Did I count the Artist Way or not? I'm not sure. And then just some form of small art with the quarterly goal of finishing the Maximalist Marseille. So let's go ahead and get this over with. Did I work out once a week? No, I did not. I did develop a habit of working out more. So I did increase the amount of working out I was doing from not at all to like 2 or 3 times, up to even 4 times a month. But once a week, absolutely not. Sometimes I had really good weeks. Some weeks I got really sick and I just couldn't do it. The artist date once a week, I did it.
Yay!
So this is the Artist Way. I finished it. I did the whole section in quarter one. I actually did it with the accompaniment of, Roger von Oak's Creative Whack Pack. This deck, loved it. And then the Artist Way creativity cards. So I had both of these Oracle decks that I was able to work with, and they function pretty similarly. I don't want to get into this one too much because this I have a walkthrough coming up soon eventually. But this one has different illustrations, a simple like catchphrase or keyword phrase, and then it has the definition on each card. And I find that when it calls itself wacky, it definitely is. It definitely is out there. It is not afraid to be outside of the typical. And I find that together, using both of these tools really helps me get to the bottom of the Artist Way. Because like I've done the Artist Way in the past and I didn't really get the most out of it. But this year, I did. And I actually found out, so I was using this journal for the Artist Way, and ignore the stain. And I've recorded the process of me filling it up. And I don't know what's wrong with me. For some reason, the first 2 times I've done the Artist Way, the journals for your morning pages were like this big, like unrealistically big. And what I realized after I ran out this one, and I bought this one to finish the Artist Way, is that I really need a journal this big. You know, I need the morning way pages to be in a book this big, not this full big spread, just something small. And honestly, maybe even just one page a day, just to get it all out. I heard people say like, "Oh, I love the morning pages. I love doing the morning pages. I have to do my 3 day pages of journaling." I was like, "You're a little. That's not gonna be me." And then this time I finished it, and I was like, I just want 1 page a day. So next time I get paid, my plan is to buy maybe four of these journals, so I can do walking in this world and finding water. But this one, check. I did it. I did the artist way once a week. Bi-weekly graphic design lessons. This I did not do, right? So I set the time aside to do it, and there's many times where I did do it, but then I started to run out of resources that I could use for my graphic design lessons. Um, I'm looking for more, but the fact of the matter is, so many spinning plates, I just ran out of time. You know, I was running out of time to set time aside to work on this and then also get the other stuff that I wanted to get done, you know? And then small art for stability. I feel like I definitely did that, you know? So let's cut to here real quick for my quarter one milestone. Did I complete the Maximus Marseille? No. I did not. Instead, for the month of January, I made this. So rather than finish this deck, I started, created, edited, printed, and received this deck that I made. February, I received news that, if my time is right, I received news that my mom died. And I had to take time off just to, breathe, exhale, go through the motions. And I think this month I started and finished crocheting an entire blanket. And I think I finished it like right in time too. But this particular month, I think I spent most of my time decompressing. And if I wasn't decompressing, I was assigning myself really, really, really big, large, long-term projects that it was just a lot. March after the death of my mother, after I had some people reach out to me who knew and they just gave readings, and I understand people find that rude and it's mind your own business. But in this one case with the few people who did do it, I was I understand it's not your intention, so I'm not going to take it that way. But after my mother died, I was let's go ahead and channel my emotions, channel my art. So I made a series of political bumper stickers in rainbow cartoonish style. I really enjoyed that. And then I started working on my art, and I actually printed this sticker. Tired of climbing around. I call this middle management because it has a little tie and a little name tag. But the idea is that I could get back into making visual art, and in the process of that, I could work on my sticker designs so that when I eventually do open up my business, I have a series of here are my decks, here are my stickers, here are my zines, here it's all ready and open for sale. And also, I feel my creative leanings. Did I make this in January when I should have been making the Maximus Marseille? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
One thing I want you to be conscious of, a booty with an open leg cuts your leg.
Absolutely.
I think there was plenty of time to finish the Maximus Marseille, but I think my mom dying and the conditions that surrounded it is a good enough reason, at least for me, to not upkeep some of my creative processes and projects. And like I said, 50% of this being done, my goals, that's a success, right? So I actually did make a lot of progress. I just didn't finish it. Let's go ahead and go to the monthly view. Not monthly view, the weekly view. So as we've talked about before, I have this ink pad and this handmade foam stamp. I use this to confirm if I've done the task. And what I'm willing to do is repeat the same task again and again and again until I actually get it done. So for example, this quarterly review have actually been on my list of stuff to do for quite a while. I just didn't do. So there's stuff like this: Deck Obscura, Catch Up, I didn't do. Film Grimoire, Flip Through, I did not do. Prepare for Weekly Workouts, I did not do. This one, I basically got to the bottom. Why am I not working out? Oh, it's because I don't have workout clothes. I just don't. I don't have clothes that I feel comfortable with and excited and ready to work out in. Let's see. What else did I not get done? Maximus Marseille Royal Court Cup, did not do. Quiet Time, I did that. YouTube, I started YouTube this year. I think I started it this year. Did not do that. Did not do that. January 21st, finished deck. So I think that's when I finished this deck, and we can get into it after that. As you can see, by the end of January, I had some solo workout sessions that just wasn't getting done. I tried different stamps. This is actually, it looks kind of gross, but this is a gold ink pad that I use, and it just didn't adhere. I started, and I realized this, every Wednesday I started doing ancestor offerings. I really liked that. I still kept that. And then doing like my artist dates on Tuesday, I had some blank weeks, some days where I was just like, I need some time to take a couple breaths because I'm running at full pace. My little solar stamp, my floral stamp. Again, it looks like I get a lot of stuff done Monday through Wednesday. And if my timing is correct, this is the time period where I had Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, not Saturdays and Sundays, but we're going to go closer to that. Yes, okay, so February 20th, got all this work done. February 20th, mom died. I was very, very lucky to be able to schedule a Callie Maddox reading. Let's see. Two weeks after my mom died. And that was really helpful. Let's see. Relax Gorge, Ancestor Offerings. Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember. Sorry, this is helpful for me too. So after I had done the reading, right, I felt like I was like, okay, that was very helpful to process stuff, time to get stuff done. And then the very next week, I got like mega sick and I could not do anything the entire week. I don't know what was going on with me that week. I just could not do anything. And then I finished the Artist Way. On to the next one. Okay. Something about me picking big projects. Artist Way, I finished it. I was like, time for a break. This was that. Time for a break before I start the next section, next series, before I do any big creative projects. This creative break lasted 4 days. I just finished the Artist Way. I just got better after feeling sick, after my mom just died. And then the very next week, I started a new project where I was like, you know what I want to do is I want to go find my favorite artists and I want to grab their entire visual art portfolio and I want to convert it into a pack of playing cards, because I do playing card divination, a pack of playing cards just for me, right? So not for commercial use, not for me for selling anything, but just like my legal right to make my own pack of playing cards. Because I realized I don't have to wait for my favorite artists to make the merchandise that I want them to make. I could just make it myself and it'll be a fan-made one. See, upload curios. So I think from here to the past couple of weeks, I just was not uploading YouTube videos, as you can see, but I did upload the curio one, upload quarterly review. I was supposed to do that April 4th. I did not do that because you're watching now. I obviously did not do that. Get passport, didn't do that. I'm on my way to get my passport. Didn't work out. Womp womp. Um, I started including physical health, like teeth detail cleaning, which I need to do today because it's a Sunday on the day of me recording this. Um, let's see. I hang out with some friends. I hang out with these two good friends and then these two friends on this other day. And that brings up to here. So I think overall, what we can see within the first quarter is I did get a lot of stuff done. I did have, I feel like, a pretty justified break where I couldn't get anything done. Am I even looking at this right? Oh, it's over here. Yeah. I had a pretty substantial reason to not get stuff done. And honestly, I feel like some people in my position would probably just be like, that's it, I'm not working on any of this anymore. But I know that this is important to me. So I know that I'm going to complete the Maximus Marseille. So that was my quarterly review with this. Let's go into the books that I read. So I did a little pop pantheon magic and everything. I read the completed illustrated guide to Nirvana. Love this. Let's see, I bought this for $7 in a thrift store. So I love this print, right? I almost want to scan it just so I can use like this texture. But it has these really cool, sick digital edits and this ephemera collection. And I think that as someone who really loves Nirvana, I love this design right here, who loves Nirvana, who has a Nirvana Kurt Cobain prayer candle. What's this as? Home of Teen Spirit, home of grunge, prayers of whatever. I feel like this was very helpful and very useful, and I appreciate how like it didn't go through and create a mythology. It was more intended to dismantle and destroy the mythology and any like um, illusions or lies that was part of its creation. Right? I think that it painted a pretty clear picture that Kurt Cobain was a very complex uh, individual, and I found that there was parts that was shared to him that I could relate to, and parts that I could not relate to. And I just think overall, if you're into Nirvana, I think you would like this. Another book that I read is this one. This is called The Gargoyle by Andrew Davidson. So I read this growing up, and this is a story of a adult worker who got into an accident and got burned. And it's technically a romance book, but it's not very, in my it's very romantic, but not in the ways that a romance novel typically is. In the burn ward, this woman finds him and tells him that she is his lover from the past life, and he spends his entire time with her as she's telling him different love stories from different spirits that she has encountered. And then part of his withdrawal process of morphine from being in the burn ward is having first contact with the spirits in question. And I think the love stories in this are so beautiful and so painful, but they're not like, and they lived happily ever after. I think reading books that you've read in the past, especially from your childhood, can help illuminate um, maybe some foundational beliefs that you didn't realize you had. And the artist in this book definitely has some, and by the artist I mean like the woman friend. She has some creative behaviors that I found in myself, and I was like, oh, I think you just have to read it to get it. I really love that one. What's the next? I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt. They say if you want to get into dark academia, this is a book you have to get into. And they say like this is the foundational book of dark academia. And I just could not agree more. I loved it. I hated it. It had ups and it had downs. And I think at this point, if I could be transparent, I went from basically not sitting down and reading at all to I think I finished this book. It's probably not the biggest book. Let's see. 523 pages. It's not the biggest book, but I finished this in like a week's worth of time because I just loved it so much. And let's see if I can find. I think this is the last book I read. This is The Serpent Ascending, a Tantric Approach to Gay Witchcraft. From my understanding, Tantra is not just sexual. It's about imbuing magic and witchcraft and spirituality in all elements of your life. So I got this book because I was really excited. I was like, ooh, a gay book. I'm always down for a little bit of gayness. And honestly, negative 10 out of 10. Did not enjoy that. This book, I will say, it has inspired me to create a blog just to share in detail how much I don't like this book. You know, the book that I'm starting now. Let me go grab it. I'm Glad My Mom Died. I haven't read this, but from what people have told me, it's a semi-similar relationship. These two books have tempted me, at least how far I've gotten to this, to just sharing what I've read and my thoughts on it. I know people do that on Goodreads, but I'm thinking there's I'm gonna link her down below, right? There is a artist that I follow, Sons, and I love her blog so much, and she's also inspired me to make my own blog. And she also had made some book reviews, and I'm just like, ooh. Still reading this, I can't tell you, but this one, negative 10 out of 10. I want to include screenshots. I want to get into detail because I think we can do better than this. I made this. It says the Delphic Oracle. Take a card, read it twice, sit in a moment alone. Listen, meditate, and a lesson may be learned. So this is a companion deck for this. And this is the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck. I wanted a hexagon-shaped box, but unfortunately, I could not find one on print on demand. And this deck is going to be just like my Abstract Heart Oracle deck, where they are not print on demand decks for that exact reason. If I could find one, a print on demand printer that would make a hexagon shaped everything, I would. It's just not working out. So let's see. The Delphic deck Oracle is an Oracle deck created in January of 2025 using public domain imagery spanning centuries from all over the world. This deck was created as a form of activism for us to remember that the citizens of the world have more in common than we have to divide us, and that fantasizing and mythologizing history is an unfortunate result of not taking the time to learn with honesty, integrity, and critical thought. May this deck inspire you to connect to the truth of humanity, that life meets us where we are, and where we are all the same, and that change comes when we work and think together. Learn, live, and work together. And then I have this extra card. This wasn't, they didn't do gold gilding for my printer. So I'm gonna be honest, I just painted it myself. And the end result of that is it does get on the artwork itself, but I'm okay with that. It says, as if I didn't write it myself, the Delphic Oracle is a 50-card Oracle deck based on the axioms of the Oracle of Delphi. So the saying, like, know thyself, there's actually 150 different sayings, and we just don't talk about them. Each card has 3 of the 150 sayings made. When shuffling, if pulled a blank card, rotate the card to the right to the nearest axiom. Paired with each axiom is a work of art that is analogous but not identical to the axiom, intended to provide symbolic support for your reading as another tool to meditate on. This deck does not come with a guidebook, as the framework of the axioms was created for us to consider and meditate on time and time again. May you find this deck provide world-correcting powers and inspire you to connect to the amazing power of history, humanity, and community. Live, learn, and work together. Alexander speaks. So this is the back. And there are 5 suits. So bones, religious symbols, fauna, astrological signs. No, it was flora. This is fauna. I always confuse the two. The backgrounds, the fronts, the images, they're all public domain, right? They have been digitally edited, obviously. And then I think a few of the phrases I did edit as well. But it's 150 cards. And the idea is, let's pull a card, on what we can meditate to for the next month together. Fear, deceit with a beetle, right? So some of these images, like this plant, I need to fix. Same thing with this, you can barely tell what it is. But the idea is that you pull your card, you have your number of the axiom itself, and then the analogous symbol to meditate on. So fear, deceit, and beetles, what is the combination? That's something that you can consider and think about and meditate on. For me, I'm particularly thinking about how beetles can be a sign of bad luck or bad fortune. And also, we typically would find beetles underneath like logs that are rotting or decay or maybe rocks, right? So fear, deceit, in this case, with the initial meaning, could be something like similar to people have their hidden agendas and intentions, and it's important to not forget that. And they hide their intentions, they hide their beliefs under decaying and dying ideologies. So even though the ideologies and their beliefs where they're hiding from is falling apart, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't fear it. You should still fear that belief. But 50 different cards. This example of an image that was edited. So this is the planet that I had erased from the planet image and the image of the file in the background to create just this symbol, astrological symbol imposed onto it. I also tried to, and this is an exclusive, the symbol, the main symbol on the card, match overall with the theme of the image itself, as well as like a progression through the suit, in a way that some people would see like with playing card divination. 1 through 10 through numerology, it's the number of the element progressively getting stronger. I try to do that visually with the images. Restrain the tongue with the bottom jaw. I think that, as I'm just going to put this all away, I think that this is a deck that I've wanted for a very long time, and that makes sense why it came out of nowhere and started and finished within a year. But I really do want to find a printer that I can use to create, because these cards were originally supposed to be this big, and there's a substantial size difference. Look at this as a reading. Come on. So I think the plan is I'm gonna open up my store, my art store, the decks for pre-order, open those up, or actually open the one deck up. The decks that are print on demand, put them all up so that people can buy them. Get a website so I can actually share myself, right? And then I guess after the Abstract Heart Oracle, after this deck is funded, this could be the next one. Okay. I have other stuff I've done for this first quarter, but I can't share them with you right now because they're still in middle of progress. But thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Goodbye.